The Colts, man, especially, and this is more so with Anthony Richardson. At what point do you deem an experiment a success or failure? At what point do you deem a project a success or failure? Like at what point? When do you call, like, you know what, this was a success, or you know what, this was a failure? I feel like we are toting the line and dangerously dangling over failure with Anthony Richardson. Because remember, if you go back, he was a project, that word, he was a project in high school. Then he was a project when he went to college in Florida. Then he was a project as a high first-round pick for the Colts. And I think, shout out to Shannon Sharp and Chloe Shasha, I think they brought it up. I don't think he's ever completed 60%, like completion percent. I don't think he's ever had 60% completion percentage in his career. And then you bring in not just Shane Steichen, who was the Eagles offensive coordinator, but you also bring in Daniel Jones, and I know that they're saying Anthony Richardson has dealt with injuries in his training camp. Cool. But when reports are saying that Daniel Jones, who, if people do not remember, was essentially exiled out of New York for being as bad as he was, and his contract being attached to the non-contract that they gave or didn't want to give Saquon Barkley. That Daniel Jones. The Daniel Jones that was god-awful. They're saying that Daniel Jones is essentially outplaying Anthony Richardson in training camp. Now, you can say it's due to the fact that Anthony Richardson has been hurt. Okay. But it's like, when do you deem a project a success or failure? Because it seems like Anthony Richardson has been a project his entire career. And I'm not going to lie and say that he is just god-awful. Like, Anthony Richardson has promising traits to him. He has traits that could and should translate into winning and translate into being a good NFL quarterback. But he also has traits that drastically hold him back from reaching his full potential. I think number one is his accuracy. Number two is decision making. When you have bad accuracy and you make poor decisions, And I also understand the Colts' urgentness. Because contrary to popular belief, man, Colts have one of the best rosters in at least the AFC. They just drafted Tyler Warren and he was considered one of the, if not the best, tight end in the draft. Obviously, their defense is one of the best defenses in football. But then again, DeForest Buckner, he's getting up there in age. He's 31. You know, like, I don't know how many times that can keep going back to the well. And I don't know how many times that can continue to lean on someone like Zaire Franklin, who is an incredible defensive player. But as we've seen in the NFL, you can't just have defense. And the craziest part about all this is they have a good offense as well. Whether you talk about Josh Downs, you talk about Michael Pittman, talk about Jonathan Allen, or Jonathan Taylor. I'm sorry. They have one of the best rosters in football. And this is one of the perfect examples of it don't matter if you don't have the quarterback. Because they haven't had the quarterback. I don't expect much from this Colts team because of the quarterback situation. I think the underlining storyline this year is going to be I think if he does not have a good season, if he doesn't beat out Daniel Jones, this is going to be the last year that Anthony Richardson is a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I know he's young. I know it. But it's like, again, I know he's only 23, but you've been a project since college, and it doesn't seem like, in fact, it seems like all the issues, mind you, this is year, 3 for him? And I know he's young, but all the issues that he had in high school carried him, as far as quarterback mechanics, carried him to college. All the issues as a quarterback he had in college has carried him to the NFL. So this is a huge year for not just the Colts. Because, again, the Colts are good. Shane Steichen, the Colts are good. I think this is a make or break. This is like the last. The patience, I believe, is running. The fact that you bring in Daniel Jones, and we're already hearing Daniel Jones is better than has been better than Anthony Richardson in training camp. Again, I understand that there has been injuries involved, but even still, your best ability is availability. If you're not available and you already have question marks about your play, like, what? Come on. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but, like, you know, I think that this is the I understand we're going to talk about a bunch of quarterbacks, talk about a bunch of people, what this season is important to. But if we're talking about the future of their career, I don't think that there is another player which this season matters more than Anthony Richardson. And I'm not even saying that the Colts have to be, I don't think they have to necessarily win the division or whatever, but they have to. Anthony Richardson has to be a good quarterback. Now, I didn't say great. I said good. He's had moments, but he hasn't been consistent in the slightest. And I think that this is a make or break year for him, more than anybody. And that's why I don't know what to expect from the Colts. Roster-wise, they're really good, especially defense, and they have weapons. They have to go into a team to have Josh Downs, Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, and Jonathan Taylor, and you're not that good of a team because of your quarterback. That says a lot. So we'll see with the Colts, man. But they, especially Anthony Richardson, and the fact, if you think, I wonder how that locker room is. If you get towards the beginning of the season and they name Anthony Richardson the starting quarterback, And then you start rattling off losses. And then they think to themselves, yo, Daniel Jones gives us a better chance to win. Do you know how bad of a situation that is? When Daniel Jones is looked at to be the better option at the quarterback position? Just saying. But we'll see.
Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.